gimmicks, and gaming. To be honest, two things that go together in a way that just doesn't work with any other entertainment mediums. Some that even may have been seen as gimmicks in older generations are seen as important to the industry today, whether that's online play, voice acting, or even goddamn color. Now yeah, many fads are fads. They simply come and go with time, just like in any other mediums. That's why I'm yapping about it. The reason I'm even here to yap about it, obviously. Now, of course, I'm not going to make this somewhat nostalgically biased or retrospective now. Trust me, guys, gaming is somehow dead. And trust me, guys, again, trust me, it's going to be this year. Trust me, bro, trust me. For the second time in a row, in 5 weeks. I can't even do that because, unfortunately, I'm not a millennium. I was born in the 2000s after all. Now, I won't be talking about every fact because, well, simply, I can't. I just don't have that time, to be honest. But there's 3 in particular I want to discuss, and those are... According to Google definitions, the action or process of moving or being moved. Now, just like everything, no one knows where the hell this stuff became a thing. Some would say it began with the Wii, the Power Glove, or if they want to be unique and quirky, the fucking Zappix. Like, you know, the Zappix. What you talking about? You never heard of the Zappix? Now, thanks to the absolute clean-shaven Race King, Re-Res, I can thankfully tell you where this absolute cesspit began. In 1981. You know, when games stuff like this. God damn. Don't you that assault? Now, one thing I need to mention, and that y'all are very curious about, it's a little thing. How do games like this get motion? I got one answer for that. Poison. And by that I mean mercury. And of course we are talking about controllers, related to gaming, and of course when people get angry at games, one thing they ask you to do is to batter that shit, and of course make the controller buzz. Overall, from what I can find about this stick thing, was there was absolute buns. Well, I mean, its name is in French, and also had poison in it. What do you expect? Overall,
always let me know what your favorite meme of the month was. Mine would have to be Me and the Boys or Keanu.
Now, how about we start with something a little more modern? In the year of our Lord 2010, with the absolute certified hood classic failure, that is Connect for Xbox 360. Once you look at it, the gimmick is simple. You, yes you, would stand up with negative 15-year-old IRL giving you the light skin stare, in which 30% of the time, the game would move when you would move with fear. Now, I know what you're saying. For the lore, you absolute snap. What games could you find this absolute treat? Thankfully, I got some examples for you. Firstly, Project Milo, made by the video game campaign king, Peter Molyneux. Now, this ended up being cancelled, but don't worry, thanks to the lords at Microsoft, we have a trailer to go off of. And after watching it, to make a long fucking story short, this is where a game where you basically talk to a shy, socially awkward kid. Just absolute cinema. Just absolute cinema indeed. Example number 2. Connect Disneyland or World for my Americans. Adventures. Where man, I'm sorry, but this fully priced game people spend money on is, to put it simply, a game where you're standing awkwardly in the middle of a room where they should be in Disneyland or World for my Americans. Now, thankfully, I've already visited this cesspish. Now, it was the European one, which means I had to go to France, and I had to be with Persians along with queues that took 90 billion fucking years out of my life. But hey, one experience is better than no experience. But like, god motherfucking damn, this is just a definition of sad boy syndrome. Now don't worry for all the 0.214% of people worldwide that want to use this thing in a war zone. Well, do I have just the thing for you to discover. Steel Battalion Heavy Armor. Now a little thing that, well, for me is a bit, sorry for awkward pause here, that's a bit important when discussing this nice little petite game, is that it's basically the Connect version of Full Truth 2. Sometime and somewhere, people wanted this to be very good, but the very little hope in the artist tried to glimmer through, but overall this ended up being utter dookie. Now this one game, the one positive thing I would like to mention is that Connect being a quote-unquote controller-free experience, unlike the other stupid games on the original Xbox, which means you don't need a controller the size of 5 big bucks to play the motherfucking thing. But like being under 22, the negative is absolutely cooked and near non-existent positive. Because for some reason, the game just thinks it's the main character and completely ghosts your movements. Overall, I really think I give these horses too much of a milkings, and how about a nice drink break for y'all motherfuckers? Now this, my boy, is a little bit of a similar story, but with less movements, and it all begins, in my opinion, with Power Cynical's favorite PS1 franchise, Spyro the Dragon. More specifically, after launching his teeny-weeny punk phase with the Legend of the series. Now, after the recession, things were really looking the best for the franchise. And yes, apologies for sounding like that guy that does overly nostalgic video essays on PS2 games. But back to the point where we were. There's this little company called Toys for Bob, and they have one little idea about a game, or the concept at the time seems a little neat. Instead of having to unlock the game's characters by doing stuff in the game, you have to do a Genshin Impact player's worst nightmare, like get this, going outside and proceeding to spend money, get this outside to unlock them. Like, I mean get this is like get out, you know what I mean, just don't scare the unemployed there, you know? Now, to give good old TSB this, by 2010 standards, this was actually something unique and new, and eventually cultivated in the release of Skyline Wars Adventures, for pretty much every 6th-gen gaming system except for the DS and PlayStation Portable. The only issue is that, along with that, this shit got used and repeated so many fucking times that it eventually became the French Montana video game. He had everything. Disney, Lego, even fucking Nintendo, who's still out of the alleged Big Four, the only ones that still do them. I mean, looking back, how the hell did people not get the concept out quicker? Giving CSGO a lot of competition for biggest money drainer is one thing, but god damn man, if you're average of this amount of figure power up and stuff, firstly, I would say 4 digits. That's what you accept. All these went to the soda ass around 2016 or 2017, and thankfully Toys R Us were doing stuff good at the time, making stuff like Spyro the Ignited Trilogy in 2018 and Crash Bandicoot 4 in 2020, or eventually being drained and to be bent over at the Call of Duty case. One of early games is supported simply not doing the best right now, and Disney Interactive straight up doesn't exist anymore. And how about we do a nice for the interlude?
What? When you in WOM and you hear your name bout to be Eugene.
Now, picture this. It's early 2000s. For some people, the peak. To others, the definition of absolute attitude. Now, there's one game in particular that I feel single-handedly caused this nice little absolute domino saga. But me personally, I feel that we need to go over one little title game from 2002 called Space Raiders, which I will give you a nice little diddle, 3 seconds to guess. And oh well, would you look at that, the 3 seconds is up. And yes, out of all serious, it's fucking Space Invaders. But yeah, some motherfucker title looked at this game from 1978 and went, yeah, look at it, make it hardcore, dark, and mature. God motherfucking damn. Anyway, at the end of the day, people found this shit and born. Moving on, now picture this, again, it's 2006, and you're at Capcom headquarters. And look, I'm not going to sugarcoat it, they made Final Fight 3 wise, and again, to make a long story short, from what I can find, it's basically not even that funny, because I have reboots, which don't worry, we will get to later, trust me bro. The gameplay was basic as shit and pretty dookie booty. Now, this my boy, is the main reason I wanted to talk about this. And out of all the franchises in the world to reboot, they choose, yeah, Bomberman. With Bomberman Act Zero in 2006. Yeah, this franchise, Bomberman, this thing, someone, or some people went to this and said, yeah, it was like this dark, in both senses, cause yeah, it was meant to be mature, but holy fuck, the amount of brown, what were you trying to do, make the close-representation of a fucking turd? Which, retrospectively, looking back, yeah, they were pretty accurate. I mean, with what I told you, just copy and paste that here and there, but booty, there's one thing I gotta mention, that for some fucking reason, despite this being in 2006, on the fucking Xbox 360, the first mostly HD generation in gaming, you I don't know if you can't say it like at all. And you all know what's also pretty fun and wacky? The fact that the single player mode has 99 levels long, and yeah, I get it. Or you all here are going to play for Bomberman, and sorry for the absolute fucking brain seizure right there, repeating. For all the people out there that you see I'm doing there, that's nice the jerk. But for all the people there that bought Bomberman for the single player, like yeah, I get it's very small margin, but still, by going on, a lot of people bought it for the multiplayer, which yeah, it was pretty much a normal multiplayer you expect. But like, come on man, it's fucking Bomberman X Zero, what do you think? Now thankfully, they brought it back, thankfully. We'll say thankfully, which is why I'm pausing a lot. Thankfully, they brought it back to the normal style, but then Hostess got absolutely cocked by Konami, and it pretty much no longer exists. I mean, outside, that's pretty much all I wanted to discuss with that kind of era, because, to be perfectly honest, I couldn't really find anything interesting to talk about. They're all pretty much copy and pasted for one another. I get I'm missing Bond that came out of 2009, but like, outside of wife arm jokes, I can't really think about anything else, and I'll just put a bunch of other examples of stuff that could be put in on screen. And that is really the best way I can describe this era in gaming, not gonna fucking know. Now, I was a bit of Speedy retrospective, wasn't it? We saw everything really, from both east and west, and old and recent. And hey, you don't know, maybe one day I'll come back to this someday. This is my first video, which means I'll probably utterly hate this in about 5 years. And hey, if you want to see that, you could hit that like and subscribe button for more content in the future, baby. But like, actually thanks if you made it this far and actually did not want to kill yourself. And hopefully I keep this up. And to make a long fucking story short, please, just keep shit the fucking same, please.
I'm new, bro. I'm new to this.